I'm Steve Ember in Washington. President Barack Obama has called on Congress to restart an assault weapons ban. The president's request comes 5 days after a gunman with a military-style weapon killed 20 children and 6 adults in the second-worst school shooting in the nation's history. President Obama named Vice President Joe Biden to lead an effort to write proposals for action no later than January to address gun violence. He noted that a number of Americans, including police officers, have been killed by gun violence since Friday's deadly attack in Newtown, Connecticut. He said questions remain after the school shooting. Time magazine has named President Obama as its Person of the Year. The magazine says his re-election showed the country's changing population. It called him the symbol and, in some ways, the architect of this new America. Mr. Obama, a Democrat and the first African-American president, was also chosen for the award in 2008. And Time magazine named Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai the first finalist for the yearly honor. The teenager was shot in the head by Taliban militants earlier this year for standing up for girls' education. She survived the October attack. Other finalists included the chief of Apple, Tim Cook, Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi, and Italian scientist Fabiola Giannati. News reports say 3 top State Department officials have resigned after the release of a report about the September 11th attack on the American consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Media reports say Assistant Secretary of State Eric Boswell and Deputy Assistant Secretary for International Programs Charlene have resigned. The third official was not named in the reports. The Accountability Review Board criticized top-level systematic failures and management deficiencies within 2 State Department offices. The committee was led by retired Ambassador Thomas Pickering and retired Navy Admiral Mike Mullen. South Korea's president-elect Park Geun-hye says she will keep her campaign promises and work for the unity of the nation's people. She spoke in Seoul after her victory on Wednesday. Her election win makes her the country's first female head of state. The 60-year-old leader is a 5-term lawmaker and the head of the Conservative Party. She is also the oldest child of former South Korean President Park Chung-hee, who is known for economic growth but also for political repression. Her opponent, former human rights lawyer Moon Jae-in, was once jailed during her father's rule. She admitted defeat shortly after the National Election Commission announced Ms. Park as the winner. Experts say China is using its expanding defense budget to make major improvements in drone technology. Some observers believe China could soon compete with the United States for leadership in the market. China demonstrated its new generation of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, at a recent air show in the southern city of Zhuhai. Experts said the drones were bigger and more developed than in the past. Many appeared to copy American technology. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. In India, women's rights activists gathered outside the New Delhi police headquarters Wednesday to demand stronger punishments for crimes against women. The protest in India's capital city came after the rape of a young woman that has created widespread anger. The 23-year-old medical student was raped and beaten by 6 men before she was thrown off a bus. Officials say she is in poor condition with severe internal injuries. Her male friend was also beaten and thrown off the bus. 4 men have been arrested in the case, including the bus driver. World health officials have suspended a polio vaccination campaign in Pakistan after attacks on health workers left at least 8 people dead. The World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Fund halted the vaccination campaign Wednesday. The decision came after gunmen attacked 3 more polio vaccination teams, killing a female health worker and her driver in the northern town of Charsadda. Another person was reported wounded near Peshawar. A 3rd shooting took place in the northern town of Nowshera. No one was injured in that incident. A group of organizations has called on European leaders to urge Russian President Vladimir Putin to end his campaign against Russian civil society. In a statement, Amnesty International says it and 7 other non-governmental organizations are seeking promises from the Russian government. These include guaranteeing the involvement of civil society in public policy debates, ending threats to human rights groups, and protecting activists and reporters. Amnesty's statement calls for cancellation of new Russian laws that redefined treason. And in Switzerland, the giant UBS bank is paying $1.5 billion in fines. The payment comes after the financial organization admitted its part in cheating to establish a world interest rate for certain loans. UBS agreed Wednesday to pay the fines to American, British, and Swiss officials. UBS also admitted guilt to a charge in the United States. Last June, American and British regulators fined Britain's Barclays Bank $450 million in the same case. More financial institutions are under investigation as regulators look at how financial traders' deals influenced trading.